He would have been lining that up himself probably. Here's Antonio. A bit of cut in field away from Magoma, but then overhits his pass and it goes out for a Blues throw down by the corner flag.
Yes, obviously we spoke about maybe Birmingham playing with sort of 5 in midfield rather than with the 2 up front that they're doing, because the space that West Ham are getting is in that midfield area. It's hard for Clifton Bell and Gardner in there because they're playing up against 3 and they can't deal with it, and that's why West Ham are getting a lot of possession of the football.
Gary Gardner looking to head it up towards halfway. It's Rice who intervenes there, playing as a holding midfielder. He's a tall lad. He's got a presence about him as Declan Rice. Interested to see him, just 19 years of age, but already beyond 50 first-team appearances for West Ham, which he has to be benefiting from. Good challenge in by Dean to win it back for Blues, but then Magoma immediately runs into trouble. Heavy touch from him enabled Rice to pick his pocket. Djukovic is scrapping to try and win the ball back from Diop inside the West Ham half, but Diop finds Ogbonna, and Ogbonna can move it to his left for Masuaku. A lot of pace about this West Ham team.
They just look sharper than Birmingham at the moment, don't they? Birmingham look like they're a little bit leggy. They're sort of a yard of pace short of what West Ham are at the moment. They just need to try and get hold of this football at some stage, because West Ham have had a lot of possession.
That early punch in the gut certainly hadn't helped them. Ball out towards Silva on the far side. Harding did really well. He's got good pace to recover sometimes when his starting position is wrong, and he accelerated past Silva and turned it out of play for a throw on the far side. 9th minute on BBC W. 1-0 to West Ham. Early goal from a corner scored by Arnautovic. After 3 early saves from Camp, but the third one was back into the path of Arnautovic and was able to score with the header. Blues win a throw on the far side now. It's a good challenge for 1 or 2 of the younger players. For Wes Harding, it's another huge part in his growth as a player. His 18th appearance of the season. A lot of them were off the bench early doors, but he's had a run in the side during the injury to Christian Pedersen, who may well be back at home to Middlesbrough next week. They have missed him in terms of the balance of the side, not least because Maxime Collin is so much more effective on the right than he is on the left.
So as I said, it's a good experience for the younger Blues players. Probably never played in this sort of atmosphere before in front of these sort of crowds, so it's a great experience. And the good thing for Blues is they've obviously conceded within the first 2 minutes of the game, but there hasn't really been another chance in there. Sort of slowly working their way into the game now. So hopefully keep it nice and tight and try and nick one from a set piece or on the break.
They did look for a moment that they were going to create their first opening really from open play, but Shea Adams overhit his pass out towards the right hand side looking for Conor Mahoney, and it went harmlessly out of play for a throw. Antonio driving across the field now, plays it out towards the far side, the left for West Ham and Masuaku. Back to Rice on halfway, slightly heavy pass, but Nasric comfortable getting it back to his man. Now Rice finds the angle for Obiang to the right of the centre circle and out to the touchline, and Antonio rolls it on towards Silva. Silva's touch is going to carry out a play, marshalled very neatly by Harley Dean. It remains 1-0. 10 minutes gone here. Let's check in at the Hawthorns, Albion and Wigan. Rob Gurney.
Quiet start in the 10th minute. It remains 0-0 here. Wigan had 3 corners in quick succession, which Albion defended fairly successfully. Wigan forced into a late change from their published starting lineup as Field finishes up in a heap with Kipre on the near side. Albion fans wanted a free kick. Goal kick is the verdict, but Darren Gibson missing out. Lee Evans takes his place in the starting lineup for Wigan Athletic, and after 10 minutes it remains Albion 0, Wigan 0.
Thanks, Rob. We'll keep up to date with that. Continues the commentary on DAB. Blues concede a throw. They look like they were going to get the ball comfortably back to their own goalkeeper, but at the pace of Silva meant that Collin had to lay it out of play on the far side.
Just a little bit of indecision between Collin and Dean there, and Collin just sort of slowly just tidied it up, played it out for a throw-in on the far side.
Masuaku threatens to throw it long. That was a borderline foul throw as he hurls it back in the end to Declan Rice to the right hand side, and Antonio watched by Magoma. Antonio thinks about going down the touchline. Magoma stands strong and delays him. Antonio still has the ball at his feet, gets some support from Silva. Back to Antonio once more. Now Rice 30 yards out, moving from right to left, goes back to halfway. Blues at the moment taking up good defensive position, that the blocks are right. Then Silva gets a lucky ricochet, it bounces off Collar, out on the right hand side, borderline whether Nasri was on or off. The assistant keeps his flag down, rolls it back to Arnautovic on the edge of the area, lifted in by Silva, looking to get it back to Arnautovic. On the stretch, Collan does well, and then Gary Gardner with a neat header to tidy it up. He gets it back to Lee Camp, who looks downfield early, looking for Shea Adams just inside the West Ham half. Almost got a free kick out of that, but then Gary Gardner with a neat ball swept to the left hand side, and Djukovic early cross, looks to get through, it might break for Gardner on the edge of the area, fires in a shot and it gets blocked. Didn't catch it as sweetly as he might have done, and then Kieftenbelt with a floated ball out to the right hand side, and Mahoney tight to the corner flag, will try and win himself a corner, and does. That's a lot brighter from Blues.
I mean, it just shows you when West Ham are pressing with the ball, they do leave 2v2, and it's going to be a great opportunity for Birmingham to hit them on the break with Adams and Djukovic up against Diop and Ogbonna at the back there. So Camp got hold of the ball, nice quick distribution out to the two of them. There was 2v2 and nearly got a shot. It was just lucky it was blocked.
Now Mahoney will take this, left-footed.
Just got to miss the first man here.
Yeah. Well, his delivery has been very good at times. It's going to be Djukovic who peels to the back post. He looked to attack the ball and he gets contact on it, and he's going to be penalised for a shove in the back there. He was just, to be honest, wanting the ball a little bit more than his defender. I think it was Ogbonna who was marking him. He's a little bit sore, Djukovic, after it, but you could see there the danger they can cause. It's a good in-swinger from Mahoney, and Djukovic's thrown everything at it.
It's a lot better corner than what was from the first one from Magoma on this side, and Djukovic just got a little whack from it, so hopefully he'll be okay. And the Blues, as I said, just slowly getting that foot in the game, trying to hit West Ham on the break, and they've had a couple of decent little half chances.
He's always running off a bump or two, Lucas Djukovic. Gary Monk admits it's very, very hard to tell when the fella's got an injury or not. I think the referee's got that right, looking at the replay, by the way, and that he has probably got into the man before he's made any contact with the ball, hence a sore hip for the moment for Djukovic.
I think that's his game though. He's a big bustly centre forward, wants to get, and he's won the ball back there high up.
He's won it pressing, and then Adams unfortunately went off to his left. If he'd gone to his right, Mahoney had made a really smart run through the inside right channel, but Adams couldn't see him, and West Ham were able to dispossess Shea Adams, and now they'll come on the right hand side themselves with Silva cutting in, trying to create space for a shot, takes deflection. Lee Camp has to watch it past the right hand post, and that's another West Ham corner. Good
defending from Collan there. As I said, Dean Garner's cut inside onto his left foot. He's hit a shot, Collins blocked it, and it nearly looped over into the far side, but just thankfully for Blues it just went wide. Another corner there, they've got to defend it better than the last one that they defended, obviously, where West Ham scored.
It's going to be Silva who goes across to take it, and they have got height, they have got athleticism inside the penalty area. And Silva swings it in towards the near post, it misses the West Ham head, and it's partially cleared by Harley Dean. They've still got some work to do here, Blues, but in fact West Ham hit it all the way back to their goalkeeper, which gets rid of the threat for the time being.
That's where I'd rather leave one person up with Blues there, because as it gets cleared it goes straight to a West Ham player and he can do what he wants. He's got time on the ball, whereas if there's a Birmingham player, if we leave maybe Shea Adams up, he can maybe get hold of the ball, and it gives us a chance of getting out of our own box then.
Well, leaving one up usually forces two defenders back.
Yeah.
And also, you know, if you get the release ball at the right angle, Shea Adams is the sort of guy who can beat a player.
That's it, with his pace as well. If he gets on the hold of the ball and maybe can get turned on it, he can start attacking players, and with half a pitch to run into, it's with his pace, he's got a good chance of getting something from it.
Massive crossfield ball by Diop on the diagonal, and Masuaku initially didn't get it under control properly. It broke kindly for them, and it's a chance for Dean Garner to play it on the left hand side. Masuaku with the cross, won't quite drop at the far post for Antonio, who'd bustled to get into the penalty area, but only cleared as far as Arnautovic, 35 yards out in central. Good toe in by Morrison, and he'll clear halfway with that. And it rolls out of play in front of one of the TV cameras that are here.
Good defending from Morrison, but the same again, West Ham attacking, they're leaving 2v2 at the back, so that is an opportunity for Birmingham. If they do win good possession of the ball and they can hit West Ham on the break quickly, they're in 2v2 situation, and as we spoke about with Shea Adams' pace, we've got a chance of hitting them on the break.
Into the 17th minute, West Ham 1, Blues 0. Tough start for Blues, that early goal from Arnautovic. They are settling into the game a little bit. Very hard to keep the ball, but then that's normal for Blues. They thrive on relatively small amounts of possession. There's a back pass here. Adrian has to wait a long time for the ball to arrive. In the end, he has to take a touch and turn away from Lukas Djukovic, who was approaching, gets cheers for it, but your manager probably doesn't want you doing that too often.
It was a good press from Birmingham, 3v3 at the back, pressing the goalkeeper, and Arnautovic is in.
Dangerous ball over the top, looking for Arnautovic, but Lee Camp's start position when he's sweeping up behind tends to be pretty good, and he's able to capture that on the bounce near the edge of his penalty area. The ball was clever though.
Yeah, it was a great little ball in behind, was it? But that just shows you West Ham, Birmingham pressing up, sort of a 3v3 at the back there, and all they've done is just turn it down the side and play past the press. And Birmingham good starting position from Lee Camp to tidy it up.
Here's Dean out towards the far side, looking for Harding. Silva gets in the way of that. Back to Masuaku, who's under pressure from Mahoney, but does well enough to steer it back to his keeper once more. They're not afraid of using that route. Going back to Adrian, the former Real Betis goalkeeper, who's in for Fabianski for this game. It'd be interesting to see Blues test this West Ham side, because it doesn't entirely look like they're on the same page defensively.
No, they're very stretched as a defensive unit, especially when they're in possession of the ball. But they're just making the pitch huge at the moment. You know, you've got a two centre-half split, both wide players are high and wide, and it's just opening up all sorts of space at the moment. They're just probing, trying to open up a pass. There's a great ball over the top.
Well, Blues have made it difficult for them to get it over the halfway line, and once again Lee Camp is in a position that when it is hit long for Antonio, who's got fearsome pace, Camp can at least lever it out of play on the near side. Didn't get much distance on it, but the job was done. It enabled his back four to get back into position. That's twice he's had to at least show that awareness now.
A good starting position from Lee Camp, just tidying up in behind his back four. When the ball is overhit, he can he just sort of sweeps around and deals with the situation.
He'll know himself he should have done better on the goal. Looks like West Ham, West Ham have got Andy Carroll ready to come on. So there's going to be an early change here for West Ham. You'd presume that would be an injury, as Dean Garner is tackled brilliantly by Kieftenbelt. That's classic Kieftenbelt. Looks for Magoma, that's a better turn from him. Ball over the top, looking for Shay Adams, and just for a moment there, the defender looked a bit stretched. Gary Gardner's caught his man. And that's going to be a yellow card for Gary Gardner, his 9th of the season.
It'd be interesting to see who's coming off for West Ham here. Just looking at Arnautovic, I haven't seen him break into a jog over the last sort of minute of the game. So there you go, he's bringing Arnautovic off and putting Carroll on.
Well, Arnautovic looks absolutely perplexed. He put his arms out as if to say, well, why? What's going on here?
I just watched, as soon as we see Carroll warming up and ready to come on, I watched Arnautovic, and to be fair to him, he hadn't moved for sort of 30 seconds within the game, which is very surprising. But he looks very surprised to be getting brought off. So whether or not it is an injury, he's got a little knock, and they're taking a no-risk strategy with him, I'm not sure. But he looks very disappointed to be coming off.
He's livid. And in a way that only footballers can, he's taken his gloves off furiously. Andy Carroll comes on. Arnautovic is only just working his way back from injury. And it may be that he's felt a little bit of a niggle, and Pellegrini doesn't want to take any chance, but Arnautovic has had his say. He's still got his arms out wide. So, well, what on earth's going on here? And
I think that's a physio decision rather than an Arnautovic decision. They've taken it out of his thing, but he does look like he's had a little knock or something like that, and he's run it off. But
loose ball here, cut out by Mahoney for Blues. Mahoney has Gary Gardner to his left. He's played it behind him. He delayed the ball there, and then Gardner felt he was being blocked off, but the player was within. Oh, it's been given straight to Djukovic. Djukovic up towards the edge of the area, threads it forward. No offside against Adams. Oh, it's gone up now. The flag was late going up. I was expecting one, but some careless passing from West Ham. Let's check in at the Hawthorns, looking for the first goal there. Albion and Wigan, Rob Gurney.
At 20 minutes, it remains 0-0, but Wigan with two chances in quick succession. First of all, Will Grigg holding off Mason Holgate on 10 minutes. Jonathan Bond getting a strong left arm to the ball to turn it wide for a corner, from which Shay Dunkley won a firm header on the 6-yard line, but fortunately for the Baggies, couldn't keep it down. It remains, after 20 minutes, Albion 0, Wigan 0.
And Rob will continue to describe that game live for those you're listening on DAB Digital, or if you'd like to switch to it, that's where you'll get that game. Coming up later, we have Villa against Swansea and Bolton against Albion. Here Andy Carroll has gone down, and I don't think anybody's entirely sure why he's gone down. We get to see TV pictures on a bit of a delay here, but looks like Carroll's in trouble. He's hurt his shoulder.
Looks like his shoulder, and he's gone down. For someone like Andy Carroll to go down, he must be hurt or he must be injured,
Yeah,
because he's not one of them that usually goes down if he's not. So it'd be interesting to see how he recovers, especially after they've just brought Arnautovic off for a similar sort of knock with an injury that he had.
Well, he went off at half-time in midweek, Andy Carroll, with an injury on his comeback from injury. Arnautovic is working his way back from injury, and in midweek he scored twice, and he scored already here. Looks like Carroll's going to be okay. Manchester United lead Reading by 1-0 in another one of the 12:30 kickoffs. A penalty converted by Juan Mata. But I think Carroll's absolutely fine. I don't quite why he had his hands over his eyes when he was lying on the floor is one of life's merry mysteries, but he's going to be coming back on as play restarts. 22nd minute on BBC WM. West Ham 1, Blues 0. Arnautovic's goal on 2 minutes after a header from Ogbonu was spilled back out by Lee Campman. Certainly Darren Pearce and myself both feel he should have done considerably better. Smart ball here though from Dean into the inside left channel for Djukovic. Djukovic has a runner outside him, and Magoma forces him a bit wider than he intended. 3 blue shirts in the box if Magoma can find space for the cross towards the back stick and headed wide by Djukovic. That was good delivery by Magoma, and Lukas Djukovic feels he could have done better.
But a great break from Birmingham, 4v4. Djukovic running at the defence, played the ball wide to Magoma, checked back onto his right foot. Great ball into the box, and Djukovic just getting up on it, or Mahoney it was on the back stick, just getting above his defender and just couldn't quite direct it onto goal.
No, it
was Djukovic.
Djukovic had actually made a lot of ground to peel to the back post to get into that position there.
Yeah, because he was the one that actually broke and attacked the defence as well. So yeah, good break from Birmingham. It just shows that they have got opportunities if they are there to hit West Ham on the break.
As the goalkeeper's retrieving the ball, we're going to see Djukovic giving Magoma a round of applause and a big thumbs up for the cross. If he directed that just inside the post, I'm not sure Adrian would have had a prayer. That was very neatly worked from Blues. And the most important thing having conceded an early goal is to stay in the game. You never quite know what's going to happen. Like Wolves did at Spurs last week. Stay in the game. So it could be danger. Michael Antonio, right side of the penalty area, deep cross towards the far side, which Nasri will chase down out by the corner flag on the left for West Ham. Harding's gone across to meet him. Nasri tries to give him the eyes, tries to fake him out a little bit, but then a poor return ball from Diangana. And Wes Harding works hard to try and get it clear, but it's deflected to the path of Masuaku. Early cross from him, away by Morrison at the near post. Rice recovers it to the left of the centre, 40 yards out. Plays it square for Antonio. Tell me he's not going to go all the way back to his keeper from there. He's turning himself round, Antonio. Interesting ball down the right-hand side. Dean working hard to get there first. He's only really holding it up. The ball will stay in play down by the corner flag. And it's back for Obiang. Obiang in field. Gets it back from Antonio. Support tight to the right-hand touchline from Silva. Blues fans thought that was out, and then Dean is bundling over Grady Diangana, and that's going to be a West Ham free kick, which they take short.
The Blues are defending really well at the moment. 2 banks of 4 with Djukovic just dropping in on the number 10, in number 10 position, just to stop them from playing, and great defending there from Harding as well. So yeah, Blues, their shape's excellent now, and they're starting to restrict West Ham from getting sort of 10-12 passes on the ball, and defending really well. And as I said, West Ham haven't really had a chance since the goal that they scored.
There was a little slip there from Harding, and Masuaku tried to accelerate past him, and Harding did so well to play off the West Ham man and out of play for a goal kick. And Masuaku, well, I don't know whether he's protesting, thinking he should have had a corner, which he shouldn't, or whether he's just frustrated that he didn't get the ball away.
Yeah, I think it was more frustration, but Harding, as you said, he slipped just before he did, but great recovery tackle, and rightfully got the goal kick for it.
Gary Gardner battles hard to try and get the ball back for Blues, headed on by Kifton Belt for Adams, and Kifton Belt wins it back a second time when it's under hit. They need to switch it right if they can. Darren Pearce, who does a lot of coaching these days, is pointing in the right direction quite a lot. It's your instinct.
As it comes out, I think Birmingham just got to be a little bit more direct at times and just turn it in behind both fullbacks, because it was on there as it came out. Just pop it in behind the left back there, and Mahoney's facing towards West Ham's goal rather than keeping the ball in front of West Ham. The more they can do that, the more chance, I think, and the more opportunities they'll get going forward.
Oh, ball blocked by Magoma, might come in the penalty area, left side of the box for Adams. Support behind him, Kifton Belt. Kifton Belt being closed down very quickly, once too long on the ball, and the danger has gone. I think Adams had to be a little bit more direct once he got the ball there to challenge the defenders one-on-one, because once it went to Kifton Belt, the chance had gone.
Yeah, good recoveries though. Got back, got the tackle in, and that just gives everybody a chance to get their shape back, get their 2 banks of 4 behind the ball, with Jukovic just sitting in and around Declan Rice.
I think with Pedersen at left back, Kiftenbelt would have had earlier support there, but Collett is loath to go too far forward when he's playing on the left because he is less comfortable. Are they going to give a free kick for that challenge by Dean on Carroll? Carroll made an awful lot of that.
It's a soft one, wasn't it? It's just a bit of a coming together, and he's gone down easily, and they've got the free kick in a dangerous position. Obviously, with the likes of Nasri and the quality that they've got on the delivery, Birmingham are going to have to do well to defend this one.
He span round 90 degrees and fell to the floor there. Andy Carroll is a big unit.
It's like WWE wrestling, wasn't it? It was one of their.
Yeah. Well, having said that, last time he fell over, he hurt his shoulder, so he could have done that. But he's going to be a danger in the air, no doubt about that, Carroll. He'll take up position.
Birmingham got a very high line from this free kick. I'd try and be in and around sort of around the edge of the box, but they're sort of 3 or 4 yards outside the edge of the box. So it's a big area for Nasri to hit in behind him at the minute.
Yeah, and a lot of athletic players to attack it as well as Nasri swings it in. It is headed towards goal. It's parried at least away from goal this time by Lee Camp. The initial header from Diop. Now Carroll with the cross, and Camp claims it two-handed. And it could be on for the early bowl out here. He's got to try and get it beyond the defender for Shea Adams, and he does find Shea Adams. Adams getting support now from Gary Gardner arriving. The return ball, Adams left side of the penalty area. It's a tight angle, drags it back. And there were 2 players, Gardner and Kiftenbelt, arriving simultaneously. They've both gone for the ball, and it's deflected behind for a corner. What a tremendous break.
Great break from Bruce. Camp made a good save, pushed it away from the danger area this time, so there wasn't any chance of a rebound. As he's got it, good hands, distributed it out to Jukovic really quickly. And great break, and just a lucky block from West Ham, but it's a good opportunity. It just shows how good they are on the break at Birmingham at the minute.
2 of them hitting the same area. That was the problem. Kiftenbelt and Gardner, and they're both looking around and say, well, you should have left it to me. As the corner comes in towards the back stick, it's headed towards goal. It's off the line. How close was that to the goal line? They've got the technology here, so clearly it hasn't been indicated by that it had gone in, and West Ham are just happy to get it out of play on the near side. But it was a deep corner towards the back post.
Mahoney's distribution on the corners from the right hand side have been a lot better than Magoma's from this side. 2 really dangerous crosses he's put in. Good clearance from Andy Carroll off of the line. It didn't look like it had gone over, but Magoma's on the break again.
Proper off the line that was as well, as Magoma's ball in field is touched on by Adams. It was behind him, but Blues are going to win it back. Here's Maxim Collan for Magoma once more. Jukovic has pulled wide on the left hand side. Again, it wasn't the best ball to him, but he whips across in. It's deep enough to find Mahoney, but he misjudged the fly to the ball. Harding will catch it though. Harding with a cross, that's blocked. Will stay in play on the far side. Gives it back to Gary Gardner. This is a good spell for Blues. Gardner looking to beat his man, got clipped a little bit there. The referee, if he'd been in generous mode, might have given Blues something for that. As Gardner moves it to the right hand side, and Harding has Mahoney outside him, but he cuts infield for the moment. Harding back for Gardner. Harding finds himself in the inside left channel, continues his run. Smart ball for Jukovic. Jukovic feigns to cross it, driving run into the penalty area, but West Ham get a man between Jukovic and the ball. He's not blessed, of course, with a lot of natural pace, and in the end it's blocked by Jukovic and behind for a goal kick. But the last 3 or 4 minutes, tremendous from Blues, who still trail 1-0.
Good little run from Jukovic. I think it was Declan Rice that got his body in between him and the ball, but yeah, good spell of pressure from Birmingham, switching the play well, keeping possession of the ball when they're in that final third, which is the toughest thing to do, and they've made 1 or 2 really good opportunities from it, and that's how Birmingham are going to get into the game, trying to obviously hit them on the break, get Magoma on the ball, good balls in the box, and see if they can get on the end of it.
Just past the half-hour mark at the London Stadium, Darren Pearce alongside Richard Wilford. It's West Ham 1, Blues 0. Next break in play, we'll see how the Baggies are doing against Wigan. Remains 0-0 at the moment. That's on DAB. Ball over the top, offside flag. That gives us a chance to go to the Hawthorns. The latest with Rob.
After half an hour, it remains 0-0 as the cross comes in and in off the bar from Sacco. Surely it went over the line. It did. Bakary Sacco's first Albion goal. Chris Brunt denied with a 25-yard free kick by the hand of Jamie Jones, but when the cross eventually came in from the resultant corner from Brunt, Bakary Sacco was there to head the ball in off the underside of the bar. Jones clawed it from behind the line, but the referee's assistant indicating that the ball had gone over the line, so the Baggies take the lead, having been the better team in the last few minutes. Chris Brunt with a cross that ricocheted into Lee Cohen wide after 23 minutes. As I say, that free kick from 25 yards from Chris Brunt, saved by Jamie Jones, but when the corner was eventually worked to Brunt, he crossed it in, and Bakary Sakho in off the bar with a header to make it Albion 1, Wigan 0.
Timing, 1-0 to Albion there. Blues trailing 1-0 here at West Ham. 32nd minute. Lukas Djukovic has just been penalised because Michael Antonio ran into him. Seemed to be the gist of it. Just Antonio clutching his jaw there.
He's just stronger than him, wasn't he?
Yeah. Just wanted it more. He was challenging for the ball rather than just bumping into the man. Well kept in on the near side by Magoma. Blues trying to get it clear at the moment. Harley Dean needs a couple of touches, but he can lever it forward towards Djukovic. Djukovic does ever so well to bring that down. He's being fouled. The referee gives nothing, and they try and find Magoma on the left-hand side. That's a very good challenge by Rice, who's been as good as anybody for West Ham so far.
No, he's been very neat and tidy. He's done his defensive duties really well, Declan Rice, but that's a foul on Djukovic for me. Even though he's kept possession of the ball, set it, and we lose possession, the referee's got to bring that back for the foul, and Blues keep possession. But he's done brilliantly as that hold-up player there, Djukovic, to keep possession of the ball.
You know, having won it, he's being held to try and prevent him bringing another player in, isn't he?
Yeah, and because we don't keep possession, I think that's why he's got to give the foul for Djukovic, because it's he's done brilliantly and just not stronger than the man that he's up against.
There's Nasri coming deep for West Ham, right hand side, infield towards Carroll, whose first touch was fairly horrific, but he slaloms twice to keep away from Djukovic. It's gone very pedestrian from West Ham, actually.
Yeah, there's no urgency, but we're happy. Andy Carroll's dropping 60-70 yards away from Blues' goal there, which you're happy with as a defending side. If he's dropping that deep to try and get in possession of the ball, just shows you how well Birmingham have done since obviously conceding that goal.
Yeah, Michael Morrison needs binoculars to pick out the centre forward. He's not going to be too worried about that, you're right. Harding with another good challenge on the far side. Mahoney pokes it out off the West Ham man on the far side, who limps, having had the ball go off his shin. They don't make Premier League players like they used to, do they?
I laugh at it nowadays. It's quite funny, but obviously I'd never want it how it used to be, because some of the tackles that went in, and I was probably a main culprit for that. But nowadays they're very soft.
Collar forward down the left-hand side for Adams. Adams, little reverse ball trying to get it through to Collar. Rebounds out of play for a Blues throw.
Good play again from Blues. Switch of play, throw in on our right-hand side, and they've switched it out to Collar on the left, and we've got a chance of getting the ball in the box if we can keep possession of the ball.
Collar waits for a bit of movement. Magoma wearily makes his way to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Sure, there'll be some planned substitutions in this game by Blues. Neatly worked this. Magoma back to Collar. Collar's cross, though, is a weak one, and it bounces at the near post in front of Adrian. And that is where Collar, playing on the left, is less than he is on the right.
Yeah, just a little bit restricted going forward, especially on his left foot there. Did well, greatly, link-up play with Magoma from the throw, but when you just want that little bit of quality to pick someone out in that final third, it was just lacking then. But I'd like to see one of the centre forwards there from Birmingham getting across the front, so it's not just an easy pick-up for the goalkeeper. They've got to gamble across the front there.
Yeah, if one of the two had, and they would have still had an opportunity from that. Here's Silva on the left-hand side, cutting in field, gets the cross in, that should go behind for a Blues goal kick. Bournemouth 0, Brighton 1. Anthony Knockout has got that goal. So Albion lead Wigan by a goal to 0. Bakary Sakho with a header. West Ham 1, Blues 0. Marko Arnautovic with a header. At 3 o'clock, Villa against Swansea and Bolton against Walsall. Those two games live. Reports as well on Solihull Moors against Eastleigh. Monday night for Wolves, 7 o'clock the programme will start. Wolves against Liverpool in the third round of the FA Cup, and the draw for round 4 will be after that match. Hopefully we'll have a few teams still in the hat on BBC WM. Half time we'll catch up with Franksy at Villa Park. We'll look ahead to the second wave of action as West Ham have it on the left hand side with Silva in field for Rice. Rice inside the centre circle, plenty of movement to his right, the near touch line. Antonio receives it in front of Magoma. His pass though should be dealt with by Collar, who judges correctly that it hasn't got enough on it to go through to Lee Camp, but that he gets tackled by the touchline by Diangana, but the ball ricochets out of play off Diangana and behind for a goal kick. And in the end, Max Collar got the job about right. 9 to the break, 1-0.
Yeah, got a little bit lucky, sort of a little lucky ricochet off Diangana, but good defending. I'd like to see him maybe clear that up a little bit rather than having too many touches on the ball, just get a clearance on it. But yeah, good defending, got a little bit of luck for it to go for a goal kick, and Yes, it's been good for the last probably 20 minutes. I say Birmingham are really getting a foothold in the game, and just need that little bit of quality in the final third just to give them the opportunity of nicking a goal.
Little flick in the air from Kifterbelt through to Djukovic. Does really well to keep possession of that, and then Gardner can toe poke it out towards the right hand side of Mahoney. Underlap from Harding, but Mahoney goes for the cross towards Djukovic, headed partially clear. Kifterbelt then beaten to the second ball by Diangana, not properly dealt with though. Djukovic scrapping to try and win it back, but Diangana has the pace to get himself out of trouble, and very neatly in the end out to the far side. And Masuaku, without that pace, Blues probably would have won the ball back there.
I think in a championship game, I think he probably would have done. You know, just that little bit of pace, that little bit of trickery on the edge of their box has got West Ham out of it. In a championship game, I think Blues win the second ball and they create an opportunity from that situation.
Now Diangana is an attacker, tries to play it. There's a block in from Collin as Obiang wanted to thread it through inside right and couldn't. Here's Ogbonna out to the far side, and Masuaku. Nasri, little exchange of passes with Silva out on the left now. Nasri cutting in field, more central, and draws Ogbonna forward. In fact, Diop this time to the right hand side, and Antonio back to Diop once more. He's got his hands spread as if to say, well, who's going to get into position for me? Who's going to receive the ball? It's Ogbonna, the other centre back in the end, who rolls it to the left touchline. And Masuaku, plenty of possession here, but they haven't got within 30 yards of the Birmingham City goal with any of it. They'll look to accelerate things a little bit now.
But as Birmingham, we're happy here. As long as they keep going backwards and sideways, we're happy just keeping possession of the ball, keep nice and compact, force them wide, defend it well, force them back again, and they're not creating anything with it. Even though they're getting 20-25 passes, they're not creating anything from it. We're defending really well at the moment. When
Antonio tries to cut inside Magoma, he's then blocked out by Collin, but they do work it to the left of Masuaku. His cross, and there was a shout from Magoma there. Dean withdrew his leg, and Magoma is able to prize it clear on the near side for the throw. There are irritated jeers from the West Ham fans who feel there should have been somebody on the end of that.
Just Mahoney going to sleep. Masuaku on the overlap has just lost him. Good ball down the side, and they get crossing. It just shows you one little lapse of concentration from Blues, and they end up giving West Ham a chance.
They nearly capitalised on another loose pass by West Ham there. Adams was suddenly chasing hard at Ogbonna. Brighton have a second at Bournemouth, and it's Bissouma who's got the goal. So Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2. With just over 6 minutes left till half-time here at the London Stadium. That very early goal by Arnautovic. Not a lot since. Ball over the top. Antonio, is he onside? He is, but across to pick in his pocket is Collin. Inside him, Diangana was almost certainly offside. And it must have been very, very tight. Gardner turns into trouble, doesn't get a free kick there. And if it had gone the other way, I wonder. Here's Diangana into the penalty area, looking to create a shooting opportunity. Near post, drags it wide. That's the closest they've come since that early goal. But I just wonder where the way that Gardner was blocked off by the touchline, if that had been the other way, would the decision have gone in his favour? Blues
not getting the right decision. It looked offside, and then obviously Gardner going down, it looked like it was a definite foul, and they're not getting the rub of the green from the referee at the moment with the decisions that he's making. So I think Birmingham just need to get to half time with just with a one goal. If they can nick one, it'd be fantastic. If they can go in 1-0 down, just gives everybody a chance to have a little rest, regroup, and go again ready for the second half.
Djukovic scrapping in the air. The ball's going to break for Rice, who hits it out to the far side, hoping somebody's out there, and it will be chased down by Masuaku, who wants to accelerate away from Mahoney. He holds him up well before he can get near the halfway line. That's much better from Mahoney. Does look tired.
The Blues defending really. You've got Nasri dropping in 20 yards from West Ham's goal, getting possession of the ball, whereas first 10-15 minutes of the game he was getting in good possession 10 yards outside Blues' penalty box. So just shows you how well Blues are defending at the moment, restricting the space for Nasri, Declan Rice and people like that in the middle of the park.
Nasri's gone back into his own half to gather the ball here. He's under real pressure from Adams, but he manages to smuggle it back to Rice. Moved on the right hand side for Antonio. He gives it straight to Magoma. Magoma has to hold off one challenge, then tickles it through his legs of his man and wins a free kick. So we'll check in at the Hawthorns, Albion and Wigan. Rob Gurney.
Inside the last 5 minutes of the first half, the Baggies still with their noses in front, courtesy of Sacco's header off the underside of the bar and over the line before Jamie Jones, the Wigan goalkeeper, could clear. Brunt with this free kick deep to the far post. It misses out Tosin Adarabioyo. Comes for Wes Hoolahan, who's caught the eye so far this afternoon. Now Adarabioyo again trying to take on Naismith. Back to Hoolahan. Hoolahan gets the cross in. It's blocked away by Grigg, and Windass will try and further clear his lines, and then Houlihan is brought down by Windass. So with 4 minutes to go before half-time, it remains through Sacco's goal. Albion 1, Wigan 0.
And the home side still in front here at the London Stadium. Marko Arnautovic is headed on 2 minutes after Lee Camp parried Ogbonna's header back into the path of the striker. The difference between the two sides. Andy Carroll, get up. Oh my word.
I don't think 5-6 years ago you'd have seen Andy Carroll going down for the 2 challenges he's gone down for. You know, he's changed a little bit, hasn't he? Whether that's because of his injuries or that sort of stuff, but usually just get up and get on with it. But, went down a little bit too easy there.
Yeah, he and Harley Dean bumped into each other, and he just collapses to the floor over the back of his head, and he gets back up now. Oh dear.
Well, mine's got a thick mop of hair on the back of his head. He could have should soak it all up.
I mean, make no comment about hair. I'm jealous of anybody who's got it, Darren, to be honest. But yeah, just under 3 to go till half-time. Harding again has got a chase, having got caught a little bit with the ball down the touchline. And again, he's able to accelerate level and beyond Xande Silva, so he can divert the ball out of play for a throw.
He's defended well hard in first half against Silva.
And he's done well again here with a challenge, clean tackle on Silva. And it breaks for Michael Morrison, who carries the ball forward. He's underhit that pass for Djukovic, though. This could have been danger, but the Harley Dean is there to tidy things up. And Morrison is very apologetic for his ball for Djukovic.
It's just that little bit of quality when we do break on it. That's what's gonna get us back in the game. Just that little bit of quality, just giving the ball away sloppily. But there you go again. Harding made a great tackle, sending Birmingham on the attack again. But that's just where we're lacking, that little bit of urgency, a little bit of quality in possession when we are breaking. And, that's our opportunity to get back into the game.
Xande Silva, it's fair to say, doesn't like being tackled, but that was a good tackle from Harding. He's got his leg in front of his man, diverted the ball away. That's a lovely touch from Dejan Garner, tight to the touchline, looks to scamper away from Maxime Collin, and Harley Dean is across and plays it off Dejan Garner. That keeps on happening to him, actually. It's a young West Ham winger. Yeah,
great covering from Dean, though. Collin got sucked in by 1-2, then Garner got away from it, but Dean covered round and ended up winning the throw from it as well.
Dejan Garner, just at 20 years of age, his 15th first-team game, all of them this season. He's got a couple of goals in the League Cup win against Macclesfield, who got beaten 8 here. So McGoma finds the angle for a back pass to Lee Camp.
Blues doing well then, aren't they?
As Djukovic scrapping in the air, it won't quite come for Shay Adams, but the second ball will be picked up by Gardner. Djukovic is still picking himself up at the moment, but they've worked it out to the right-hand side of Mahoney. Gets past his man, down by the byline. Mahoney drills it across, but it wouldn't quite come for Gary Gardner. Good defending to get it behind for a corner. Brilliant skill from Mahoney, cutting in from the right, gets to the byline, tries to squeeze it down the line for Gardner. Corner.
But this is what we're saying about Blues. Sometimes it doesn't have to be neat and tidy. Hit Jurkovic, play off the second balls, which they did there. Out to Mahoney, great bit of skill. Picked it up and just couldn't quite pick someone out, and good defending it was from Antonio. But yeah, great bit of skill just to beat his man, and I think he should be trying to pick someone out. And Blues should be back in the game. The chances they've had the first half, they've had 3 or 4 really good chances.
Mahoney with this corner, it's towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's out towards Kiftenbelt. Kiftenbelt with a shot. Oh, and it whistles just wide of the left-hand post. Well, we know he's got the spectacular in him from time to time, and just for a second I thought that was going to creep inside that post.
Yeah, any little corners and set pieces, as we said earlier, Magoma took the first one, was poor. Mahoney's put 4, I think, really great corners in, and they're opportunities for Birmingham. It just comes out to Kiftenbelt, great strike, just going away, similar to the Tranmere goal last night. It just goes probably an inch or 2 wide. Adrian was struggling, because you could tell by the way he dived to try and stop it.
Kiftenbelt, I wouldn't say he caught it clean, but he caught it pretty well. We're into a single minute of added time at the end of this first half, and there's enough encouragement from Blues to suggest that they can get something out of this game. They trail to that early goal from Arnautovic, and there have been 3 early saves from Camp, but the third of which he parried back out, so Arnautovic was able to head the ball home for his 3rd goal of the week. He was then withdrawn, much to his own dismay, and Carroll was brought on. And Blues have created opportunities in this half. Adams has been bright, and we saw there the real upside of Conor Mahoney. Just love to see him do that a little bit more often. Just make himself more available and be positive up against his defender. But West Ham, I think, are more than happy right now to pass the ball out and get this half-time whistle, which will blow any second now, which it does, just as Shay Adams was about to win the ball. But I tell you what, Darren Purse, from the start that Blues had here, 1-0 down at half-time, but feeling a lot better about themselves.
No, they've reacted really well. You know, going 1-0 down after 2 minutes, you could quite easily see any sort of team go put their heads down. It's a place like West Ham, but Birmingham have done brilliant. The first 5-10 minutes, they've slowly worked their way into the game. They've got opportunities to get into it. They've got to get Mahoney and Magoma on the ball, getting deliveries in the box for Adams and Jutkovic to go and get on the end of. But they've slowly built their way in, and they've had I'd say the better of the chances in the first half and just quite take one of them. But the corner deliveries from Mahoney have been excellent. And there is opportunities here for Birmingham if they can come out and start the way they've finished the first half.
Be interested to see how he uses his bench in the second half as well. There's not a lot of experience there other than Craig Gardner, who I'm sure we'll see. So it might just be there are one or two players he has to protect at some point.
Yeah, but Birmingham need to get a goal early in the second half. I think the longer it goes on at 1-0, I think West Ham will keep the ball better. Spaces will open up and they might nick 2 or 3 towards the end of the game. So they need a goal within the first 15-20 minutes of the second half, and then it's game on from there.
Half-time then here at the London Stadium. It's West Ham 1, Birmingham City 0.
Richard, thank you. We're inside Villa Park, so Blues 1 down to an early Arnautovic goal. He went off injured, replaced by Andy Carroll, of course. Albion still leading Wigan 1-0. In fact, the half-time whistle has just gone inside the Hawthorns. Let's get the details there, Rob Gurney.
Yes, Frank C. 1-0 to the Baggies at the break. Bakary Sakho with his first goal for West Bromwich Albion, the former Wolves winger. But it was Wigan that started the game the better against an Albion side showing 9 changes from their last Championship match on New Year's Day. Will Grigg holding off debutant Mason Holgate. Another Albion debutant, Jonathan Bond, though, with a firm left arm to the ball to turn it aside for a corner. From that corner from Josh Windass, Shea Dunkley climbed highest, was unmarked at the edge of the 6-yard box, but fortunately from a Baggies point of view put that header over the crossbar. Albion feeling their way into the tie. Jonathan Lico, Wes Hoolahan, who certainly has caught the eye during the first 45 minutes, and Chris Brunt all combining with a Brunt cross that eventually ricocheted to Lico, but he couldn't control his finish and the ball bounced wide. But the goal came just past the half-hour mark. It was created really by Chris Brunt's 25-yard free kick, which Jamie Jones, the Wigan goalkeeper, clawed out of the top corner with his right fingertips, but from that corner it was worked for Chris Brunt to cross, and Bakary Sakho with the header inside the 6-yard box, in off the underside of the bar, and it bounced down over the line before Jones could clear. So that's Sakho's first goal for West Bromwich Albion in the blue and white striped shirt, in only his third start for the club. Right on half-time, Mason Holgate, who again has looked lively on his debut, wearing 68, which of course has a nostalgic significance for Baggies fans. The last time they won the FA Cup was 51 years ago. He ghosted past 2 defenders, Holgate, but a left foot shot and his weaker left side was comfortably saved by Jamie Jones. But so far, so good for the Baggies at the break. It's Albion 1, Wigan 0.
Bakary Sakho's goal after 31 minutes, giving Albion the advantage against Wigan at the Hawthorns in the FA Cup third round. Blues 1 down to West Ham. Other scores, because there are some other early games in the FA Cup third round. Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2 at half-time. Burnley and Barnsley 0-0. Manchester United leading Reading by a goal to 0. That was Juan Mata. Shrewsbury and Stoke in stoppage time 0-0. Sheffield Wednesday half-time with Luton is goalless as well. And we know Albion 1 up and Blues 1 down. Second half on the way on FM with Richard Wilford and Darren Pearce, and on DAB of course you've got Rob Gurney and Albion against Wigan. We're inside Villa Park for what should be close to a sellout here for the FA Cup third round tie. Season ticket holders getting a free ticket. It's £10 to get in as well, so a lot of families will be heading here as well. Mark Regan alongside me. Third time that Dean Smith has come up against Swansea in 15 games, so 2 1-0 wins so far. I think they'd take that again the third time around, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think any kind of win today will just keep the ball rolling a little bit. To be honest with you, let's be honest, it's not going to make or break Villa's season if they go on a run in the FA Cup. It's always very, very welcome, of course.
It's momentum, Riga.
Yeah, I get that. But it's not, like I say, if Dean Smith wins the FA Cup and doesn't get promoted, is that a good season? Question mark. So I think it's all about getting promoted, and today it's about, like you say, maybe getting a chance of getting some minutes on the pitch and some players that haven't really had a look in. Maybe Scott Hogan, Henry Lansbury, maybe 1 or 2 of the youngsters as well will get out there. Berke Binyason started last time, still on his way back. Adoma likewise. So it'd be interesting to see the team. Expecting a fair few changes, but I say expect Villa to win. I hope Villa will win, like you say, just for the momentum angle.
And the crowd, I mean, virtually a full house inside Villa Park, so it's not like an FA Cup tie where the stadium's only half full. The players will come out and they should be raised by the atmosphere inside the ground.
Well, they should be. I mean, I don't know what the crowd is over at the Hawthorns, but Blues taking 6,000 down to West Ham. That's a great away following as well. Like you say, nigh on a sellout here. So the atmosphere hopefully will be good. It was very subdued last time it was here at Villa Park as well. So hopefully there will be a little bit of a tingle or something, because at least the fans still are in love with the FA Cup. The clubs and the actual FA, maybe not so much these days.
Yeah, behind the scenes in the press room, all the talk, of course, is about Tammy Abraham and has he played his last game? Will he be sold? Is he on his way to Wolves or somewhere else? Because we know other clubs are interested. And you spoke to Dean Smith yesterday. He also feels, Dino, that Tammy Abraham's head via his agent maybe might have been turned a little bit.
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, the guy wants to play Premier League football. You can understand that. Let's be honest, he's not Villa's player. That's the nub of the matter.
He's not going to play today.
No, he never was.
No.
So, but when you start loaning players and that player then goes on to become your top scorer and a lot hangs on him, then you're always vulnerable to the parent club recalling him or selling them. And that's where Villa are at the moment. So, yes, they've enjoyed the goals he's scored so far. Personally, I think it's 70-30. He's probably already played his last game for Aston Villa, whether it's Wolves, Crystal Palace or indeed anyone else he'll go to. But I suspect that he's not going to be playing for Villa in February.
No. Other news today, by the way, Ross McCormack has gone to Motherwell on loan. He was recalled, so he's gone to Motherwell. There'll be quite a bit of activity, you would have thought, still in January. I can tell you Manchester United have got a second goal just before half-time, Lukaku, so that should wrap that one up. Half-time, Man United 2, Reading 0, Shrewsbury 1, Stoke 0 is also a score close to half-time. It's Norburn with a penalty 4 minutes into stoppage time. Shrewsbury 1, Stoke 0. If Gary Rowett loses that, chances are he may well be losing his job. But this is the FM game from 3. Aston Villa against Swansea. Rigo, you can go and get seconds now.
Excellent. I'm on my way. Don't need asking twice.
Bolton Walsall in the FA Cup's third round at the University of Bolton Stadium, as it is these days. First ever meeting in the FA Cup between these teams. Of course, Villa Swansea played in the FA Cup in 1924 and 1925. Rigo saw both those games. Tom Marlowe watching Walsall at Bolton today. And Tom, every chance, I think, for the Saddlers today.
Very much so, Francie. It's a difficult game to call, though. There's 17 places separating these sides in the footballing pyramid, but both are on a poor run of form in the league. Saddlers haven't won in 5 matches, 2 draws and 3 defeats since they beat Sunderland in the Cup in the replay in the second round at the Stadium of Light. And Bolton, well, they're third bottom in the Championship. Real problems on and off the field, and they've picked up just the one victory, which was on Boxing Day, since the end of September, and that was against a fellow struggling side in Rotherham as well. But this, for Dean Keats this afternoon, will be a chance to forget about the league form. It's a winnable tie against a team who are in trouble, injuries and illness, and then off the field as well. There's been talk of players not being paid, but this is a chance for Walsall to get some momentum and put themselves in the hat for round 4. There's a real chance of doing so today.
Yeah, well, just on the financial front for Bolton, obviously they're in a mess. They had to take a loan to pay wages, so they're in serious financial trouble off the field. As you say, 1 win in 16 games, but the Saddlers just need, we talked about momentum here, Tom. They need a bit of momentum. They need a win to get into the 4th round, would just get everybody going, because the league form has not been pretty.
No, it's not. Certainly in terms of the results. Performances, they haven't been too bad. It was a good display by the Saddlers against another top 6 side on New Year's Day in Charlton Athletic. And just like against Peterborough just before Christmas and Luton at the end of the calendar year, they did well, but they didn't come away with 3 points. And Dean Keats admitted to me after the game that he sounded a little bit like a broken record now, because they're giving opposition sides an advantage through real sloppy mistakes. Ferrier misplaced a pass to George Dobson very early on. Carlin Grant was able to go through and slide through Liam Roberts' legs to score, and Fitzwater then held Lyle Taylor in the box, a penalty at 2-0. Saddlers being behind 2-0 for the second time in 3 matches. It's a real mountain to climb, so hopefully they can keep it at 0-0 for a little bit longer here and put the Bolton fans under a bit of pressure, because they lost 6-0 in their most recent game.
Yeah, at Hull. Tom Marlowe watching the Saddlers today in the FA Cup third round at Bolton. The half-times, by the way, officially: Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2, Burnley and Barnsley 0-0, Man United lead Reading 2-0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Luton 0, Shrewsbury 1 up at home to Stoke at half-time, and we know the Baggies 1 up and Blues 1 down. The National League we're covering today: Solihull Moors at home to Eastleigh at Damson Park. Could have been Arsenal in the FA Cup. That honour goes to Blackpool at 5:30. The Moors still 5th in the National League table. Eastleigh in the top 10, 5 points behind Solihull Moors, so could be a tight game, that one today. Mike Taylor at Damson Park, and Mike, 4 points in 4 games since the cup defeat to Blackpool for Solihull Moors. They've had some difficult fixtures along the way, though.
Yes, I mean, look, they're still doing outstandingly well over the piece, and an awful lot better than I think the vast majority of people thought they would. But it is, it's far enough into the season now for it to be by no means a flash in the pan. And they've got to be taken seriously by other contenders and by themselves now as realistic contenders. I'm not talking about a quick burst in the first 5 or 10 games. And that is going to mean that they are, marked opponents. And Eastleigh are one of the teams that have a realistic shout of muscling in on the top 5 positions and getting in the playoffs themselves. So it is going to be a pretty competitive fixture. They've built this season very well. I mean, I came to speak to Tim Flowers before one of the international breaks when we featured Solihull a little bit earlier in the season, and I went away feeling very, very impressed. I thought, obviously I know, as everybody does, the pedigree this guy has in the game as a player and coming to coach him, but if you spoke to the players with the same sort of authority as you did in the interview I did with him, then I thought, it's no wonder he's getting the best out of them. And you can see the effect that's been had, carrying on the momentum from late on last season. But it's now whether they can, I suspect, maintain it in their own minds as much. In their minds now, do they believe they are real contenders to go the distance rather than just, a team punching above its weight in the first part of the season? And if they believe that, then why not?
Solihull Moors, Eastleigh today. Mike Taylor keeping an eye on that for us. At half-time in our early kickoffs in the FA Cup third round, Blues trailing West Ham 1-0, but Albion 1 up against Wigan. Here are the first half highlights.
Manaman's got Grigg away down the left-hand side. Grigg keeps his feet, and Bond with a fine save away to his left. That's the first real opportunity of the game with the corner, and Dunkley wins it over the crossbar. That was a good chance too. Out wide to Brunt with the cross, and flying in there are Wigan bodies, and eventually it ricochets off Lico and behind for a goal kick. Brunt takes the free kick, and that's a good save by Jamie Jones. Away to his right, was certainly heading towards the top corner. The cross comes in and in off the bar from Sacco. Surely it went over the line. It did. Bakary Sacco's first Albion goal. Chris Brunt denied with a 25-yard free kick by the hand of Jamie Jones, but when the cross eventually came in from the resultant corner from Brunt, Bakary Sacco was there to head the ball in off the underside of the bar. Jones clawed it from behind the line, but the referee's assistant indicating that the ball had gone over the line, so the Baggies take the lead, having been the better team in the last few minutes. Chris Brunt with a cross that ricocheted into Lico and wide after 23 minutes. As I say, that free kick from 25 yards from Chris Brunt, saved by Jamie Jones, but when the corner was eventually worked to Brunt, he crossed it in, and Bakary Sacco in off the bar with a header to make it Albion 1, Wigan 0. Holgate down the right, comes inside past Naismith and away from McManaman. Holgate with a left-footed shot in the end, which is saved by Jamie Jones.
Fancy a bit of soul and Motown with your Sunday lunch?
Do you like good music? That's sweet soul music.
Sprinkle a little talc, make some room on the kitchen floor, and show us your moves. Check out where to find the best music on the Gig Guide.
The Soul and Motown Show.
It takes two, baby.
Join me, Jenny Wilkes, this Sunday from 1 and relive your dancehall days.
Don't forget the verdict, football fans, between 5 and 6, 08081 009956. We'll have all the dressing room news and views, of course, and Beanie Brainbusters for all of our clubs as well in the final hour. Second half's about to get underway in the FA Cup third round early games. On DAB, you've got West Bromwich Albion against Wigan with Rob Gurney at the Hawthorns. On FM, West Ham against Blues. The Hammers 1-up with the early goal from Arnautovic. Former Blues defender Darren Pearce alongside Richard Wilford.
Today, have your say after the final whistle. Every kick, every goal, every moment that matters. BBC WM 95.6.
Yeah, welcome back here to London Stadium as the two teams are coming out for the second half. Blues, who got knocked out in the third round in 2016 and 2017, got through to round 4 last year, losing a replay at home to Huddersfield. They'd love to make it through to round 4. They're going to make a change at half-time, and it's going to be a Gardner off and a Gardner on. Gary, who got a yellow card in the first half, is replaced by Craig. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if that was one that had been decided prior to the game as well, in order to save the legs of Gary Gardner for next week's game against Middlesbrough. Darren Pearce alongside me. One thing that Craig Gardner will always bring is a bit more quality on the ball and the passing range as well. Yeah,
obviously he's a good player when he's in possession of the football. He works hard as well in there, obviously alongside Clifton Bell. So it's just a straight swap. They did it last week as well at Sheffield Wednesday, so I don't think it'll change. The system won't change, nothing else will change. Just hopefully gives you that little bit more quality when we do win the ball back, especially in West Ham's half. We have that little bit of quality to get the ball wide and get deliveries into the box, and hopefully give us that platform to get back into the game.
His minutes have been increasing off the bench in recent weeks. He launched the comeback against Blackburn back on December the 15th and was involved in the comeback against Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend as Djukovic scrapping on the right hand side of the West Ham penalty area. For a moment I thought he could win a corner. It doesn't quite get run out of play by Rice, who does well to clear it right-footed up towards halfway, where Harley Dean beats Carroll comprehensively in the air. Carroll did get caught there. The play continues up towards Shay Adams, right side of the penalty area, shot blocked behind. That's going to be a corner. Carroll wants to know why he didn't get a free kick, but there was nothing wrong with Dean's challenge, and Blues on the front foot. Great
header from Harley Dean there, putting Blues back on the attack. As I said, Andy Carroll going down again, brilliant header. But just one thing I know is it's not, but Declan Rice has been excellent for West Ham. He's broke up a lot of what Birmingham have done, and without him I think Blues would definitely been back into the game. You can understand why there's an international tug of war as to the future of Declan Rice. He's 19 and he's a tremendous talent. Corner, right-hand side, to be taken by Conor Mahoney. It's deep, but it's just too deep. Djukovic can't get high enough to get onto that. The shape was right, it was very familiar, but just too far. So the Blues team for the second half: Lee Camp in goal. At the back, Wes Harding, who's done very well, Michael Morrison, Harley Dean and Maxime Collin. Midfield now: Conor Mahoney, Michael Clifton-Bell, Craig Gardner and Jack Magoma. And the front two of Shay Adams and Lucas Djukovic. The remaining substitutes: Truman, Dacres-Cogley, Scar, Lakin, Lubala and Solomon Otterbort. West Ham with Adrian in goal. And then Michael Antonio, Angelo Ogbonna, Issa Diop and Arthur Masuaku at the back. Rice and Obiang holding, with Diangana, Nasri and Silva behind Andy Carroll, who spent most of his time falling over and rubbing his head, but will be a threat from set pieces later on. They used to intimidate defenders. I think the opposite is happening now. Pretty good start for Blues though. They've had good possession of the ball in good areas as well. And Magoma's on the ball out wide. Good little 1-2 between Magoma and Clifton-Bell, and then Magoma gets bundled over as he tries to cut in field. It was Antonio, who's actually defended quite well, considering it's not his first choice position. He's played there quite a few times at right back, but on that occasion, having let his man get to the wrong side of him, he's just had a tickle out at Magoma, and another chance to deliver some quality into the box. Got to make the most of this now when we're getting these opportunities. As you said, with Craig Gardner coming on, he might be the one just to unlock the door with that little bit of quality from set-piece delivery. Yep, Gardner is standing over it, as is Magoma. And this is one of these areas that you want to get it between the defenders and the goalkeeper if you can, and Gardner will try and do that, but he's overhit it, and it's a comfortable catch. I say a comfortable catch. Adrian managed to drop it into the ground and it bounced back up for him. Untidy. Yeah, it didn't quite deal with it well, a bit poor from Gardner. When you're getting them opportunities, especially away from home at places like West Ham, they've got to be good deliveries into the box, so giving you opportunities to score and putting the defence under pressure rather than putting it straight into the keeper's hands. It may not help, it was his first kick of the ball, but nonetheless, put it into an area.
As Mahoney is having to try and prevent the run from Masuaku. It's a clever ball in field for Obiang. He plays it square for Nasri. Nasri cut off by Kiftenbelt, so gives it back for Obiang. Leave it out towards the far side, and Diangana run in front of him by Antonio down towards the byline. Antonio's cross snuffed out at the near post by Dean, and out of play on the full for a throw.
Yeah, Magoma just came narrow there, and they had the overlap down the right hand side with Diangana and Antonio. Poor delivery into the box, well defended by Dean, but Magoma just coming narrow just to try and help the two in midfield, and it's just opened the ball down the right hand side for West Ham.
Throw about 6 or 7 yards from the goal line, and it's in towards Obiang. Kiftenbelt challenging in the air, and Adams is able to lever it up towards halfway, headed back towards the Blues penalty area. Morrison strong in the challenge, and they're scrapping to try and get it down. Mahoney carried away, but Gardner has just tripped his man there. Silva, and a free kick to West Ham 35 yards out. They take quickly, despite the fact that one of their players appeared to be doing squat thrusts on the far side. I think there's a bit of a calf issue going on over there. Interception by Mahoney on the near side. Nudged in field. Good turn actually from Djukovic, and he's running away from Nasri. Infield for Magoma. Caught with two men on him in the centre circle, but found Kiftenbelt, and he almost releases Djukovic. It was Rice yet again. He's got quite pesky as Rice, because he's cut out what looked a good ball.
Anything that's going into Jukovic's or Che Adams' feet is he's just picking it off the front of them. He reads the game really well, and when he's in possession of the ball, he keeps things simple. As you said, you can see why people are looking at him. You can see why West Ham have signed him on a 5.5-year contract, because he's done well today. But as I said, it's been good for Birmingham so far, breaking up the play, not giving West Ham time to get on top of the ball. We just need that little bit more quality in possession of the football, and just to try and obviously create them openings for us.
The best players have these intangible things, sometimes things that you just can't coach, and the way that Rice reads the flow of a game, I suspect is something that's just natural for him. It's West Ham in possession on the far side. 6 minutes of the second half. They lead Blues 1-0, but that goal was way back in the second minute. Kiftenbelt wins the ball. Now Magoma's got a bit of space to move into. He was partially tripped there. He stayed on his feet. The referee is going to have to give a free kick and a yellow card here against Diop, because he was quite deliberately trying to take his man down. His Blues could have been 3-on-3.
Yeah, I still like Magoma to try. I know he's been tripped. I think it's try and stay on your feet and keep going, because that was really a good break, and they're taking the ball quickly for Magoma.
Taken short by Gardner for Magoma. He's tackled out of it. Gardner will try and win the ball back, but in the end West Ham just gathered too many people around him. Magoma has had that sort of day so far, if the truth be known. Everything has been just imprecise. Down the touchline from Harding to Mahoney. Has to cut back away from Silva. Harding for Kiftenbelt. Back to the young defender once more, and I think he's taken the wise decision to use Lee Camp. Still 1-0 to Albion. Bakary Sakho's goal against Wigan. We'll check in there in a few minutes' time. That's live on DAB. That's a poor clearance, and Djukovic with a chance, and first time on the volley, steers it just wide of the right-hand post. It was a long ball forward that took a deflection. It stood up for Djukovic, and his right foot may be his swinger, but he went for placement, and it wasn't far away.
I can't see why Birmingham need to use that a little bit more. I know it's a little bit more direct, and maybe the simple way of doing it, but long balls into wide areas and long balls over the top, West Ham can't deal with. They're very square on as a back four, and I think that's what we need to do, hitting little diagonals into Magoma, Jukovic on the angles, and I think that's the opportunity for us to get back into the game.
You'll have played in your time against a lot of players similar to Lukas Djukovic. He's an awkward customer. Here's Diangana using his pace for West Ham, right side of the penalty area. Carlisle looking to hold him up. His cross takes a deflection. Good control by Harding. Not a great clearance though. Andy Carroll runs into a tackle by Kiftenbelt, and Blues release it downfield. Hasn't quite got the angle to drop for Che Adams though. But Djukovic is the sort of customer that as a centre-back you're going to know after 90 minutes that you've been playing against somebody.
He's I'm not saying he's in the same class as Diego Costa and someone like that, but you know for 90 minutes he's going to be in your face. You're not going to get any free headers or anything like that. When you're having a touch on the ball, you're going to be closed down, and you know you're going to be in for a battle, and that's what Jukovic does. He's done well. But little opportunities like that, when we win the ball back, and especially in the centre, we've got to hit Magoma with just a big long aimless ball over the top. Just that little bit of quality needs to be there. If we'd have hit Magoma, then we'd have been on a break, but we just picked the wrong pass.
Possession for West Ham inside their own half, but there's another loose pass, and Mahoney will seize onto it, and he's going to be tackled from behind, and that ought to be a free kick. So you can't really win the ball cleanly from there. Masuaku, the referee's giving him the benefit of the doubt.
just towed it away from Mahoney, but obviously pushed him down at the same time, and he's let him get away with it.
They do catch him in possession quite often here, Blues. Gardner with the challenge, forces it out of play on the far side. Don't forget at 3 o'clock, Villa against Swansea, and also Bolton against Walsall. And the team news comes out around 2 o'clock. We'll let you know all about it on BBC WM. Blues trailing West Ham by a goal to at the London Stadium. The visiting fans have been in good voice, enjoying their day at what was the Olympic Stadium. Got some defending to do here. A ball over the top where Harding might be outmanned here. Masuaku, we're going to take him on, has support, which he uses now from Silva. Silva tight to the touchline. Mahoney is very watchful and wins the ball. That's good defending by Mahoney. And then Adams gets himself turned and finds Djukovic. Djukovic sees this trouble coming, maintains possession, might have overhit it now, and that was a shame because he could have released his man. Second ball won though by Adams, who tries to force himself through, and then it's Gardner who's able to pick up the ball. They're coming in waves to keep on winning the ball back, but he's overhit that. So he kept it in tight to the touchline, Gardner. He has. Goes down under challenge. The ball's ricocheting everywhere, and in the end it comes out West Ham's way. And that's a shame because 3 times Blues burst onto the ball, and each occasion they couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's a good break, wasn't it? Good openings as they're having a good touch. And just their second touch just took the ball away from them rather than keeping good possession of the ball. There's a foul from Carroll on there. So, but it's good break, great pressure. Blues' shape is excellent. West Ham are obviously they're probing, they're keeping the ball at the back, but they can't find them openings because Blues' shape's so good. There's no spaces in between anybody, and then what they're doing, they're playing 4, 5, 6 passes and end up giving the ball away, and Blues can break. So it's good defensive shape from Birmingham and hitting them well.
Free kick to Blues is very central, just to the left of centre, if anything. Morrison has come forward. He's on the right side of the penalty area. Gardner plays it short. And Harding, with his weaker left foot, is going to stand it up, looking for Harley Dean at the back stick. Dean heads it down, but the offside flag is up. And it's a free kick to West Ham. Let's check in at the Hawthorns. News of a decent chance there. Albion and Wigan, Rob Gurney.
Lico is clear and puts it wide of the far post. That was another good opportunity for Albion with 10 minutes played since half-time. But Bakary Sakho has twice been denied his and Albion's second goal. Lovely pass, I think, from Harper out of midfield to release Sakho. His first attempt saved by Jamie Jones, who was then impeded by his own defender, Cedric Kipre, as he tried to get back to his feet. But Shea Dunkley was on the line to clear the ball away from Sakho's fiercely struck second effort. Field also been denied by a smothering save by Jones from Wes Hoolahan's pass. But Lico having a good opportunity, was a bit wide, but he finished with the shot wide of the far post in the end. So in the 56th minute it remains through Sakho's goal, 14 minutes from half time. Albion 1, Wigan 0.
And Rob continuing with the commentary on DAB of BBC WM. Bournemouth have got one back against Brighton through Mark Pugh. Corner here to West Ham, which will be taken by Diangana. Djukovic is holding the 6-yard box, very deep corner. It's Kieftenbeld who gets the initial header on it. Be flicked back in by Masuaku. Looks like a push there by Carroll. The referee waves play on. Gardner can't win the ball back. Over on the far side, it's Kieftenbeld who blocks the pass out towards the touchline, but he has to concede a throw just so that the team can regroup. West Ham's first spell of anything really in the second half.
Yeah, they just had a break down the right hand side. Good ball in the box, was well defended by Harding. And they've got the corner, but what I like about Blues' second half from corners, they're leaving Che Adams up. You know what I mean? So it's keeping 2 West Ham defenders back. It's just creating that little bit more space. And when we do clear it, at least there's a challenge for the ball rather than them having a touch and putting the ball straight back on at us. So I think that's a better lineup, especially from defending set pieces for us.
West Ham are going to make their second change before too long. Robert Snodgrass is getting ready. The man who spent last season on loan at Villa, 43 games and 7 goals he played under Steve Bruce. As Blues shepherd the ball out of play for a goal kick. Maxime Collin doing well there. Antonio thinks it should have been a corner. I'm not sure that he's got a case. And West Ham will make this second change now. And it's Samir Nasri who's got through just over 57 minutes on his debut. He's going to be replaced by Snodgrass. An experienced performer, but a very different player to Nasri, who's been available a lot to pick up and receive, and gets some applause from some of his teammates as well. He's going to be an important player, you fancy, for West Ham for the tail end of the season, and he's getting good minutes under his belt. Talking of which, incidentally, Birmingham City under-23s have been playing earlier today. and they won 3-0. Significantly, 2 of the goals were scored by Isaac Vassell. So Isaac Vassell getting closer to a first-team return, and that will be a very useful addition to Blues to have another senior striker available. Of course, Omar Bogle out injured at the moment, which doesn't help.
I was at Plymouth with Vass when he was a young lad there, and didn't quite go through and make it from there. Dropped down the leagues, and obviously he's come in and did well and did excellent at Luton, and now he's come to Blues and scored some goals. So it'd be a great initiative to get back.
Oh, Djukovic has won the ball, but then Mahoney didn't make the run that Djukovic wanted, and Djukovic is letting him know about it in the grand fashion. He'd scrapped really well to win that.
Just that weight of pass on the final pass to them little through balls, just that little bit of quality that's lacking, what that West Ham have probably had in the final third, and we haven't.
I think Lucas is making the point that if Mahoney hadn't been on his heels, he probably would have got down to the byline and been able to play the ball back in. Djukovic might regret not rolling it left where he had Adams potentially, because Adams with one man to beat is probably not a bad bet. As we approach the hour mark on BBC WM, Darren Pearce alongside Richard Wilford on BBC WM for this FA Cup third round tie. Blues trailing 1-0, very early goal from Arnautovic. Slightly untidy keeping from Lee Camp on this occasion, it has to be said. Had made a couple of good saves already by that point, after a host of good saves that helped Blues garner a point at Sheffield Wednesday. Another interception by Kieftenbelt, early up towards halfway, and Adams holds it up really well and then leaves it out on the right hand side. Mahoney and Djukovic, he split them rather, and it's going to be hooked away. Harding looks to attack the ball and waits for it to come, and does well. He's very tight to the touchline and can't find Mahoney with that ball, which was rather optimistic. Masuaku under instant pressure from Mahoney though. He's forced back to Ogbonna. It's another one who likes to fall over, isn't he, Masuaku? Nobody's got a touch on him there. He still ended up rolling around.
Everybody wants to go to the gym and show how strong they are, but they do tend to go down quite easy, don't they?
It's amazing. Dean gets to a long ball ahead of Carroll and plays it off him and out of play for a goal kick. Blues next up at home to Middlesbrough next week. That'll be on DAB on BBC W, and then a trip to Norwich on Friday the 18th. That'll be on FM. And then in theory at Swansea on the 26th, but that's pending the result of this game and the one between Villa and Swansea. Albion have just gone close to a second goal against Wigan. Mason Holgate on his debut with a header just wide. Could be a very useful acquisition for them. There's a loose header from West Ham is picked up by Magoma, who drives inside one challenge and inside another, and then looks to thread it through towards Adams. He was offside. Flag goes up. Third time Blues have been caught. Interesting idea from Magoma.
I don't know if that was a shot or a pass though. It looked like he was lining up to shoot and ended up finding Che Adams, but it just strayed offside. But good play from Magoma, cutting in on his favoured right foot. 25-30 yards from goal, and I think he did try a shot, but just unfortunately Che Adams just got offside. But good play. Just need to get them balls wide into Magoma and into Mahoney, because I think that's what's going to open it up for us and get them deliveries into the box to give Che Adams and Djukovic a chance to get on the end of it.
That one run from Mahoney, you want to see him isolated again against the defender. The time he got to the byline in the first half and tried to squeeze it across the goal line for Gary Gardner, who'd bust a gut to get in there. It was dealt with by a good presence in the penalty area by Michael Antonio, actually.
It's just that in them wide areas, you want to get your wide players in 1v1s, and with Magoma's pace, Mahoney, they're good in them 1v1 situations, and I just wanted to see that a little bit more within Blues' game plan. 17th
minute of the second half. Kieftenbelt couldn't maintain possession there, but a crunching challenge by Michael Morrison to send the ball the other way. Dean Garner counts his legs and gets back up. Good clean challenge by Morrison.
Blues are definitely still in this game though.
Yeah, they are.
Definitely still in this game.
As long as it stays 1-0, they've got an opportunity. Masuaku though might do something about that. Down the left hand side, cross blocked by Harding. Corner.
He's been excellent for me today, Harding. Masuaku and Silva haven't got really past him once. He's been excellent. His defending 1v1's been superb.
Well, if there's one part of the field where Blues have two very good players for one position, it's right back with Collin and Harding. So corner, 5 apiece now in that particular stakes. It's going to be Snodgrass to deliver it. It's towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's not cleared properly initially, but a couple of flicks away. Headed back towards the Blues penalty area. Harding's header can't quite control it to find Gardner, but West Ham are forced back to their keeper, so it is dealt with once more. They are very physical in corners, West Ham. One of the few teams that Blues will play this season that can match them for height and strength. At one point it did drop on the thigh of Andy Carroll, but Michael Morrison whipped it away from him.
Yeah, he was in the right place, right time, wasn't he? And that's the difference between the two sides at the minute. It's just that little bit of physicality from the first corner. That's the only time Blues haven't dealt with something and they've conceded from it.
Yeah, really the major difference is just that one moment where a keeper parries the ball back straight out in front of him. Always frustrating when you concede a goal like that. Magoma has just been penalised for a bump on Obiang, who then went down under a second bump from Kiftembelt, both of which were worth a free kick, but it's the first one that the referee blew for, Mr. East.
I thought he was going to let play go on though, because he got up and got possession of the ball again, didn't he? But obviously stopped it and give West Ham the free kick.
Considering the height, they don't like to load the box from free kicks inside the Birmingham half, West Ham. Snodgrass just played it short. Silver is looking to tease Colin on the far side. Good looking cross headed by Dean. Camp tries to prevent a corner but can't quite.
Yeah, it's hard, especially when it's sort of 40 yards from goal in the middle of the pitch. It's hard to load the box from there. You're better off trying to sort of work it wide and deliver from wide areas with crosses rather than just load the ball with a straight ball. It's easier for defenders to deal with them straight balls into the box.
There was a crowd in for a moment then. The atmosphere is unusual here. The crowd on the far side are almost a quarter of a mile away. Snodgrass has gone over to the far side to take it. The referee is having a word with one or two players by the penalty spot because of some grappling that was going on. There used to be a time that whenever this sort of conversation happened, what would inevitably result from the corner would be a defensive free kick. Not quite the same these days. As the corner is towards the near post, Harding can't clear it, it's flicked towards goal and all. Well, Blues caught a little bit of a lucky break there because Dean Gardner had no idea where the ball was. If he did know, he would have had a shot from a slightly tight angle 6 yards out that could have troubled Lee Camp, but as he spun round looking for the ball, it came off his heel and went out for a goal kick.
It's like he was doing a pirouette and dancing on ice, wouldn't it? He's come round, hit him on the back and gone off for a goal kick, luckily for Blues. Yeah, if he knew where the ball was, could easily have been 2-0 there.
Well, now we know what Darren Purse likes to watch of a weekend.
It's the missus, that is.
I knew that was going to come as the answer. She's hoping you'll be on it one day. I remember David Seaman doing that years ago.
I'm due to get married. I'm getting married in August, and she's trying to talk me into dancing lessons at the minute, so that's going to be fun.
The pressure of the first dance. Very good. As long as she doesn't expect you to get a spray tan, you'll be fine.
I'm all right with that.
21st minute of the second half. Blues still only trail here by a goal to nil. Magoma's been forced to concede a throw on the far side. Midway inside the Blues half. 54,840. That's a crowd, isn't it?
Doesn't sound like that, though,
no.
does it?
St Andrews sounds louder with 20,000.
Oh, definitely.
Anyway, Kiftembelt, poor ball, gives it away to Rice. Rice immediately accelerating forward. Very smart ball through the inside right channel. Dinked cross, poor cross. Really poor cross. Camp is able to capture it. You got big Andy Carroll in the centre of the box there. And the lad just dinks it, Silver. And it was hip height.
Just said, Lee Camp, there you go, come and collect that.
Yeah.
A good player, a great little ball from midfield. Declan Rice with a ball in between. And
well won by Mahoney. Plays it through the legs of one defender. He's going to be defended on the edge of the penalty area by Ogbonna, but it'll be a Blues throw. But neat little play to nutmeg the first.
Can we get a chance from this? Obviously, throw in 10 yards from West Ham's byline. Can we get a little set delivery in the box and create a chance from it? This is where it don't come few and far between against West Ham, especially at the London Stadium. So good chance for Blues here.
Without Mark Roberts in the team, Blues don't necessarily have an exponent of the long throw, but Wes Harding's going to give it a go. About 15 yards from the bottom. No, he isn't. He's going to end up taking it short, I think, to Kiftembelt with a terrible layoff. Although Harding's just about to manage to keep it in. It's a deep cross, leaping high, an attempt at goal from Djukovic that is captured low to his left by Adria and out of nothing. It was an incredible cross, actually, from Harding.
Harding's
hung a long time.
He's done superb from there. It's poor for like throwing, poor set, played wide, dug it out, brilliant cross to the back sitting Chayan, and just couldn't quite get enough power onto the header. But yeah, excellent ball in from Harding and a good opportunity.
Midpoint of the second half, still West Ham 1, Blues 0. Bournemouth 1, Brighton 3 now. And Andone has got that goal. What about the Baggies? Can they kill it off against Wigan at the Hawthorns? Rob Gurney.
We're midway through the second half. It remains 1-0 to Albion. There was a good chance on the hour mark for Mason Holgate from Chris Brunt's corner as Wigan fire a shot wide of the near post through Josh Windass. Jonathan Bond had it covered, but Windass pulling the trigger, and it's gone wide for a goal kick. Chris Brunt's corner on the hour. Kyle Bartley with the climb on the far post, nodded the ball down into the ground, but Holgate could only head the ball wide of the target. Midway through the second half then, it remains Albion 1, Wigan 0.
Mahoney, right side of the penalty area for Blues, looking to create room for a cross, kept it in play towards the near post. Morrison couldn't quite wrap his leg around it though, and it was cleared away, and now Gardner can't take it off Silva, and Silva has some pace to his right with Dean Garner. Dean Garner has slowed things down though, and Magoma has managed to get goal side of him, and Blues have got everybody back.
Great recoveries to get everyone back so quick and stop the break happening.
Level of commitment from Blues remains extraordinary. Obiang out on the right hand side for Antonio. Antonio sells his man Magoma and dinks the cross in, and it's away by Harding. Headed back towards the Blues penalty area. Mahoney realises he's got plenty of time, but then doesn't pick out Shay Adams when he might have done. We will have team news from the 3 o'clock games before too long. May well be that Tammy Abraham's not involved for Villa today against Swansea. It is being reported that Wolves are close to agreeing a deal pending FIFA approval to take him initially on loan from Chelsea. So Abraham would be refished to Chelsea and sent back out to a Premier League club. It's been threatening over the last few days, but it is still subject to confirmation. But reports suggesting that is now increasingly close to happening. Blues may be closing in on a substitution before too long, but just over 20 minutes to get something from this game. Trailing 1-0, but they, since falling behind, the first 15 minutes were tricky, Darren Purse, but since then they've given every bit as good as they've got.
Oh, for definite. They've probably had the better of the chances that have come in the last sort of 60-65 minutes of the game. Definitely deserve to at least be level in the game. They've done superb. Just a shame that they conceded so early on, and just give them an uphill struggle to try and get back into the game. Great hold-up play from Che Adams there. Yeah,
held it up really well, and then back-heeled it off a defender and out for a throw, which he wants to take quickly. He wanted Magoma to make a run for him, and Magoma was slow to realise the potential of that situation, and by the time he got going, Adams realised it probably wasn't worth it anymore.
He's got to be alive there, take a quick throw in and try and hit West Ham on the break.
Craig Gardner was tripped late there. There's a protest from the West Ham player Obiang, but it was definitely a foul, and the free kick is taken early by Deans. He sees Mahoney, he's got his man one-on-one, and Mahoney will look to tease him, gets round the outside of him. Mahoney down towards the byline again, good looking cross too far in front of Djukovic this time, couldn't get there, and Antonio can clear it away. Both teams looking increasingly threatening going forward now, and this could be danger again on the right hand side. Antonio has support to his left, gets it away from Harding and towards Snodgrass near the edge of the box, plays it back for a shooting opportunity, and it's dragged wide by Antonio. Knows he should have made the keeper work.
Chance at both ends. Mahoney down this right hand side having a go at Masuka can't defend it. Mahoney gets past him, great ball into the box, just don't quite attack it. I think Birmingham now have got to start committing 2 or 3 people to the box, especially when Mahoney and Magoma are on the ball. But then once they're doing that, it's also then leaving them open to the counter attack from West Ham there with a shot just wide.
Blues have Viv Solomon Otterball ready, turned 23 on Wednesday, final year of his contract. Solomon Otterball, he is a London lad, so it will thrill him to come on this ground. Kiftembelt with a foul now on Silva, 10 yards inside the Blues half, concedes the free kick. Is Gary Monk willing to make the change on a defensive free kick? Looks like he won't, but then West Ham just take it short anyway. Mahoney's just flexing his right leg at the moment. He's one of 4 players who could make way for Solomon Otterball. So you expect it either be one of the strikers or one of the wingers. Here's Snodgrass on the left for West Ham, given a lot of space to cross the ball, and it's a dreadful cross. And one of the West Ham players has gone down inside the penalty area. I've got no idea what's happened there, but it's off the ball. Don't know whether he got clipped by Harley Dean or what.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of nothing. He's just sort of run into him and just end up falling over in the box. He tends to go down a little bit. It is Mahoney that's coming off. As you said, might have a little tweak if he was trying to stretch off. But he's done well today, Mahoney, in them wide areas. And he's some good deliveries in the box. Maybe another occasion could have got a sort of an assist with someone.
So Viv Solomon Otterball on for Conor Mahoney. Solomon Otterball is one of these players that I think is going to be raw on the day he retires. He is a raw footballer even at 23. but what he does have is exceptional pace. If they can get him into a situation where he could use it, that's going to be the key. But he is extremely rapid.
Well, Masuka at left back, he's shown that Mahoney had the beating of him, and hopefully with Vilterbor's pace, he might have the beating of him as well. And just
danger here. Silver on the edge of the penalty area, fires over. They're just getting slightly too many chances now, Darren. Yeah, the two things, isn't it?
The game's opening up. Yeah. We're trying to push for an equaliser, hence why obviously Gary Monk has made the change with Viltepor coming on in wide areas. I think he'll end up playing with sort of 3 up front, 4 up front with Magoma, and we'll defend with 6 and attack with 4, and it'll be I think the next sort of 15 minutes will be very end to end, and it'll either end up with us getting an equaliser and the game goes to a replay, or West Ham will go on and win 2 or 3-0.
Been quite a while since Viv's come on the pitch. Only his 10th appearance of the season. Scored on the opening day against Norwich, having come off the bench. It's threaded through by West Ham, but Carroll can't go for it because he was offside. Harding down the right-hand touchline, giving Solomon Oderball something to chase. The ball stays, what I consider irritatingly in play from Masuaku's point of view. He was expecting it to go out for a throw at any point, and it never did. He found himself surrounded by Djukovic and Solomon Oderball and forced to concede a throw.
Great ball from Harding down the line, just puts Blues back on the attack, stayed in play in them wide areas, and Masuaku had to deal with it.
Not going to be far away from being Blues man of the match.
He's been excellent today, both defensively and going forward as well with his distribution in wide areas.
He's cutting in field now. Good run from Harding. And he's poked it through towards Magoma. It's come off a defender. Corner.
Great little run as well. So obviously took the throw, got it back, drove inside, opened up on the edge of the box, rolled a little ball down to Magoma, and took a lucky deflection for West Ham, and Blues got a corner. Now obviously with Mahoney off, we need to have this good quality from Gardner. His quality with his first free kick was poor. Need to miss that first man and get someone on the end of this ball.
The assistant on the near side isn't happy with the placement of the ball, so Gardner has to roll it back a couple of inches, get it within the quadrant, and he delivers it towards the near post. It comes off the head of Andy Carroll. Clifton Belt will get onto the second ball, back out towards Gardner on the right. Gardner infield to Magoma. That's a clever ball into the box. Harley Dean, tight angle, stands up across. It's behind everybody. Solomon Oderball can gather it on the edge of the penalty area. Solomon Oderball with the cross this time. Trying to bring it down his chest was Gardner, goes down under challenge. Darren Pearce wants a penalty. The referee doesn't give it. Blues play on. They've got it again with Solomon Oderball, looking to use his pace here against Rice. And Rice does exceptionally well once again until he concedes a corner, because Solomon Oderball keeps the pressure on him without committing the foul.
Good play from Oderball, getting at Declan Rice once again. Good defending from him. That could have the 50-50. That they get given them sometimes. I think if the Blues fan has shouted a little bit louder, there's every chance that may have gone. I think the referee's looking at VAR. He's got his hand to his ear, but can't need another good ball from Gardner here from this corner.
Yeah, that's the point. We have got VAR in this game. As Gardner delivers it towards the far post, it almost came for Morrison. Carroll did a vital job for his team there. That was his best moment of the match, Andy Carroll, because if he misses that, Morrison probably equalises. And now Harding, he's miscontrolled the ball, it's snaffled off him, and this could be danger if Silva gets away. Heavy touch from Silva, and he gives it to Lee Camp. Very quickly, Villa and Swansea coming up live at 3. Villa team news, Mark Regan.
6 changes. Kalinic in for his debut, in for Steer, Chester, Bunyanison, Hurahan, Kodja and Abraham, who looks like he might have played his last game for Aston Villa, all out the side. In the side today, Kalinic, Taylor comes back, Whelan, Callum O'Hare gets a nod, Anwar El Ghazi and Scott Hogan. So 6 changes for Villa today.
Very interesting to see Callum O'Hare getting a chance. A lot of Villa fans will be pleased to have another look at him in first team action. Next break in play, we will get the Walsall team news. Blues are levering it down the right hand side. Good challenge by Solomon Oderball. It breaks for Adams. Adams turns away from trouble, finds Solomon Oderball on the right. Really important cross this, headed behind. It's going to be yet another Birmingham City corner, the 8th, and the roar from the away fans is growing. Blues attacking that goal away to our right.
Great pressure from